Hello, this is Kathlyn Hinesley with Exploring Dimensions for All. Today I'm going to be reading Chapter 4 of my book, Welcome to Infinity, Exploring Ancient and Modern Techniques for Collaborating with Otherworldly Beings. And I'm going to be reading the chapter called Hello from the Upperworld. For those of you who listened to Chapter 3, which had a lot of footnotes, you'll probably be happy to know that this chapter contains no footnotes at all. This concerns an experience that I had with a communication from someone who had passed on. Okay, so here we go. Hello from the Upperworld. I remembered the spirits who had watched over me and assisted me prior to my birth. I knew I had come from the realm where they dwelt and would return to it after death. I knew, too, that they were watching me and protecting me in life. Glenda had once told me that her own spiritual growth was intimately connected to my own. By helping me, she was helping herself learn and develop. I wondered if all humans and spirits were evolving together, linked through a network of spirit realms, each interpenetrating the others. My conviction that this was so grew stronger when I received a communication from my late ex-husband, who had died of leukemia when our daughter was 8 years old. We had remained close after the divorce and had grown even closer in the last few years of his life as he fought the disease. Even though he'd called to say goodbye a few days before his death and I'd known it was coming, it still seemed sudden and unexpected. When his new wife called from the hospital with the news that Jiao had passed away, all the air seemed to filter out of my body, leaving me with a suffocating feeling of emptiness. I knew, because of my experiences with Glenda, that he hadn't really gone. He was still out there somewhere. Still, I wasn't sure exactly how I could contact him. As the reality of his absence began to sink in, I tried calling to him the way I'd called to Glenda. "Jiao," I said, "I'm here for you. If you want to tell me anything at all, I'm listening." I thought I heard his voice a few times while making plans for his memorial service. If my perceptions were correct, he was very concerned with the materials I had written to read at the service, and insisted that I edit certain paragraphs. "No, take that part out," I thought I heard him say. "Don't use that. Yes, that's good." Because I was experiencing grief and wanted to hear from him so badly, I passed most of these communications off as imagination. Then one day I got a whole sentence, complete with my ex-husband's native Chinese syntax. I was arranging emails sent from friends and relatives to read at the service when I heard him distinctly instruct me to put my father's email on the top of the pile. He'd been very concerned with etiquette in life, particularly with the way certain family members should be treated, according to their age and their relationship to other family members. "Fathers should be first," I heard him say in no uncertain terms. I did a little prayer before the memorial service and invited Jiao to attend, but sadly didn't feel his presence there. For nearly a month afterwards, I sent silent thoughts to him often, inviting him to contact me. "It's okay if you'd like to talk to me," I said. "I'm here any time." Then, one day, while I was walking out of a Chinese restaurant with takeout food, I heard a familiar voice as I pushed the exit door open. "Hello," the voice said. It was Jiao. "How are you?" he asked, as he would on any normal day. My God, I thought, he probably doesn't realize I can hear him. Somehow, interdimensional post-death communication struck me as being akin to CB radio. I didn't understand exactly how it worked, but I thought I'd better identify myself quickly and indicate that I could read him. Still, I thought I'd better wait until I got into my car so people wouldn't think I was crazy. With the car doors safely locked and me inside, I responded aloud, "Hello, Jiao, I can hear you." "Don't talk to me that way," he said. "It hurts my ears." And then a most peculiar thing happened. I heard the sound of my words played back to me the way Jiao must have heard them. They sounded tinny and loud, like banging metal, like a garbage truck heaving in new trash and then crunching it into oblivion. What was this? I'd never heard nor read about sound from this world being distorted in the spirit world. But here it was, one instance at least, in which this seemed to be the case. For anyone who is curious, it was about 5:30 p.m. in the evening, and there were no garbage trucks in sight. Besides, it wasn't exactly like the sound a garbage truck makes. I was sure I was hearing distorted speech fed back to me through some type of telepathic communication system. That convinced me, so I communicated by merely thinking the words after that. "Zhao Yung," I thought, "great! Where are you?" What transpired next represents the first and only time in my life that I've gained visual and auditory information psychically, as well as a sense of knowing all at the same time. "I've got a little friend," Zhao Yung said suddenly. As I drove out of the parking lot, superimposed on my vision of the road before me like a transparent daydream, I saw Zhao Yung walking with a short little spirit, no more than 3 feet high. Superimposed isn't exactly the right word, as the vision I saw wasn't projected on top of the road. Rather, my perception of it seemed to be coming from above my physical eyes, from what felt like the center of my forehead. Was it coming from my third eye? Driving and watching the vision was like being in a room where 2 televisions are broadcasting different programs simultaneously. The little man was leading Zhao Yung past a natural landscape with mountains, waterfalls, grass, and a variety of plants. Everything in the natural environment had a meaning, and it was important for Zhao Yung to understand each one. He was being taught to read nature and gain the emotional and spiritual knowledge contained within its parts. "Like in Dream," Zhao Yung said, to add emphasis to what I was beginning to understand, leaving off the S in dreams as he would have when speaking English in life. He was wearing the same navy polyester pants he'd been wearing in China when I'd met him, the pants with the holes and patches. They'd been his favorite pair. He thought polyester was a very cool fabric, having been introduced to China from the West. As he walked with a short spirit guiding him, I was given a brief glimpse of the lessons he was receiving, although I was unable to fully grasp their content. Trying to explain what I felt is at best difficult, and at worst misrepresents the great depth of what was being imparted to Zhao Yung by his guide. Still, I'll do my best to shed light on what I was able to glean. I remember seeing a waterfall, something about water falling down a slope. It meant something about how life is. The waterfall and other natural phenomena each contained a visual and, at the same time, a mathematical principle that, if understood properly, imparted to the viewer a full understanding about one aspect of the life experience. My mind began to race. Is the world we go to after death just like the one we experience in dreams? Is everything a lesson of sorts? Was Zhao Yung being prepared for his next life in this manner? What about the meaning behind the things we see in the waking world? Are we supposed to be learning from the symbolism inherent in the natural environment? A few months later, while doing research for this book, I learned that young Australian Aborigines are taken on walks by their elders and taught the spiritual meanings of natural phenomena, meanings they believe their ancestors imparted to them at the beginning of time. All right, well, that's the end of Chapter 4. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.